A new episode of the weekly catechesis of Buea Diocese dubbed Know Your Faith took place earlier this day Monday with the teacher Reverend Father Martin Jemboka taking on the governance and enrollment in Institute of Consecrated Life and Societies of Apostolic Life. Diocesan choirs in Buea kick off the 2024 choir competition Budika. It started Sunday with parishes battling for the next stage of the contest. And Imam Alhaji Mohammed Abubakar calls for love, peace, unity and return to normalcy, especially in the troubled areas in Cameroon. He was preaching at the Feast of Ram yesterday, Sunday 16th June 2024 here in Buea, and Muslim faithful gathered at the Buea Central Mosque for this event. Good evening and welcome to Divine Mercy Prime. Those were the lead stories for tonight's newscast. Their full readouts and more will be yours in the minutes ahead. Pope Francis has called on national and international authorities to take action to stop the bloodshed in Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo following a week in which dozens were killed in the North Kivu province. At the end of his weekly Sunday prayers in St. Peter's Square, the Pope also urged people to pray for peace in all areas afflicted by war, specifically mentioning Ukraine, the Holy Land, Sudan and Myanmar. Let's now listen to these excerpts of the Holy Father, courtesy of Africa News.
We continue to get painful news of battles and massacres that are happening in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo. I appeal to the national authorities and to the international community to do all that is possible to stop the violence and to protect civilian lives. Of the victims, many of them are Christians, killed for their beliefs. They are martyrs.
Sono martiri.
Thank you. That was from Rome. Back here in Buea Diocese, Christians of Holy Trinity Parish, Bota Limbe, during the weekend converged on the St. Pius X mission station in preparation for their feast day. Prelude to this feast day celebration, Christians took part in various activities like choir competition, traditional dance amongst others. Joseph Otto was present at the mission station during the weekend and brought back the following report.
It was an atmosphere of joy and gladness that Christians of Holy Family Parish Limbe converged on the St. Pius X mission station Middle Farms this June 16, 2024 to take part in activities prelude to their feast day. Prelude to this feast day, which was celebrated this Sunday, June 16, Christians came together as one, both old and young, from various small Christian communities of this parish to partake in activities like sugar race, egg race, needle race, sack race, traditional dance competition, amongst others, overseen by the parish priest, Reverend Father Peter Namongo. Being a week-long comprising activities, the parish priest appreciated the effort and participation of the Christians throughout, while enumerating and highlighting some of the high points of the week.
Normally our feast day passed some weeks ago, but we decided to bring it to this week because we wanted to have a full participation of all our Christian community, because we had many children who were still in school. As you would have seen, the bigger population of those represented here are students, and we thought it wise to shift the feast to this week so that all the exams would have been done and all our students will be back. So it's been a week long of activities beginning since on Monday. On Monday we had mass at 4 p.m. with all the sick in our parish, wherein Christians donated gifts, and in the context of that mass we administered the sacrament of anointing of the sick to all the sick and those who wished to receive it in the context of that mass. And after the mass we distributed gifts to all our sick Christians, and to encourage them that even in their times of suffering we are with them, and that those gifts were just a token of our love and solidarity with them in moments of difficulties. And after that, we took a break and we began yesterday again with the next round of activities. Yesterday we had Bible quiz and a singing competition where all the SCCs were represented.
Closing the day, all Christians left together happy and enthusiastic, looking forward to the D-Day.
Yesterday, Sunday, 16th June, continued the celebration at the Seaside Church House of the Holy Trinity Parish with a mass celebrated by the parish priest, Reverend Father Peter Namongo Bangole. After the live televised mass, Christians talked to DMR TV, expressing their delight having celebrated as a parish community. Let's listen to them.
My name is Rene Chigozie. I am the acting chairperson of the Harvest of Holy Trinity Parish, Bota. Well, today is a feast day, the Holy Trinity Feast Day. Usually, every year we come together, celebrate with activities, football, handball, dance, and dramas. Why not singing? To commemorate our activities of our feast day. So, on this note, we want to thank everyone that has made it possible to be here. We also want to thank in this very special way our parish priest, who has effortlessly been organizing activities for us for the past years that he has been here. We also want to thank our curate, Father Thomas, for assisting the parish priest. Not forgetting our mission station pastoral council chairpersons and our parish council chairperson, who has been there to assist our parish priest. We thank God Almighty for bringing us, and we also thank God that He will give us the strength to be there next year.
Professor Ebot Veronica Manga, a member of and an active member of Holy Trinity Parish, Bota Limbe. Today is a very special day for our parish. We have been looking forward to this day. It means a lot to us because usually on a day like this, the various communities come together. We see our children, we pray together, and as a matter of fact, today is the culmination of a whole week long of activities. We had our mass with the sick, we had our Bible quizzes, and our children, and all of them also very happy. We want to thank every member who has come, especially those who participated in the previous days. We give a lot of thanks, and we thank God for our parish priests. They have really been helpful, motivating us. At least we have seen a lot of Christians who have not been around for long. To round it up, we want to thank our bishop. The bishop was with us around our feast day and the feast of Holy Trinity itself. And we want to thank him for all what he's doing for our Catholic Christians, for putting us in the limelight, for bringing all communities together through the Divine Mercy Radio.
Coach John Katakis for Bota Parish. The next feast day is some big day for we. Now they were Christian for inside Bota Parish. They ever they wait time to make this day come. Because this day now they were we should remember how we carry out our activities inside Bota Parish here. And the struggle is struggle for make and say make the church should go before inside Bota Parish. And for make and say make we begin the way they come up behind we, make them to the copy the example. Because we want for this day to be a happy day for we, and make this begin them way we come behind we, make them to the go carry on this activities and for remember the day. Say this Trinity Day, it been a day way, a day for glad for inside our parish here.
The catechetical program Know Your Faith took place today at St. Martin the Porres Parish, Bokwango, and was directed by Reverend Father Martin J. sitting in for Bishop Michael Bibi. His teaching was on the governance and enrollment of Institute of Consecrated Life and Societies of Apostolic Life. Father Roderick Yangsi was present at the catechetical program and brought for us the following report.
Today's program, Know Your Faith, a weekly catechetical session of the Bishop of the Diocese of Boya, Monsignor Michael Bibi, in which he educates the faithful on every aspect of the Christian faith, took place at St. Martin de Porres Parish, Bokwango. Today's edition was anchored by his representative, Father Martin J. Muka, in which he concluded the 4-week session on Societies of Apostolic Life and Institutes of Consecrated Life. He dwelt today on the governance and enrollment within the Societies of Apostolic Life and Institutes of Consecrated Life. Each major superior is to have councils to assist him in the daily governance of the institute. They are also to have chapters which are the highest governing organ of the institute. And above all, each major superior is to have a financial administrator.
As stipulated in the Code of Canon Law, Canon 636 rather, as far as the administration of the temporal goods of the institute is concerned, Canon Law demands that the superiors are to be assisted by finance administrators who must be distinct from the superiors. Institutes themselves within a local church, for instance, in the local church of Boya, that is the Diocese of Boya, as a prominent common good, we have the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral. It is a common good of the church in the institute or in the Diocese of Boya. We have the Bishop Pius Suawa Memorial Pastoral Center, a common good of the church. So the one who is in charge of any particular institute of consecrated life or society of apostolic life, as a major superior, as a provincial superior, or as a local superior, he is to ensure that the common good of the church is intact. And to facilitate that, when it comes to finance, there is need for a finance administrator who is different from the supreme moderator or general superior, who is different from the bishop. That is why we have a finance administrator in the diocese.
He also brought out the impediments, that is, those factors which can make one not fit for religious life.
We are told that apart from age, which could be an impediment, just come to think of it, a young boy who is 11 years and wants to join maybe the Tertiary Sisters of St. Francis, even without obtaining the advanced level, which is a basic or minimum requirement, is already an impediment, age. And then we still ensure that as an impediment, we have marriage bonds, prior bonds. Just as a candidate cannot be ordained a priest, one cannot be ordained into the sacraments of sacred orders as a deacon in the church or as a priest, because of prior bonds, there must be an investigation to ensure that that person had not attempted marriage, had not given the free spousal marital consent of the marriage bond. The person has not been married somewhere. So if the person is already married, it's already an impediment to admission for formation into the Society of Apostolic Life or the Institute of Consecrated Life.
The participation and activeness was greatly felt, as was evident from the questions which came from those who attended the doctrine.
You said the enrollment age is 17 years. Father, I was married, but my husband died, and so I'm a widow. I was working. I am retired. So, Father, can I apply to become a Reverend Sister? Thank you very much.
To begin with, remember, in the sacrament of Holy Matrimony, the expression of the spousal and marital consent brings marriage into being. The expression of the consent brings marriage into being. And it is for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness or in health, till death do you part. Till death do you part. And that is why, after the death of his spouse, there is a room open for remarriage. Somebody can get married again. Somebody can begin his life again anew in the sacrament of holy matrimony. The fact that there existed a prior bond, the bond of marriage, already at that point in time, brought about an impediment for you to be engaged into the religious life or consecrated life.
Departing from the scene, all were filled with satisfaction, all hoping to be part of the next section come next Monday.
The 2024 Buea Diocesan Choir Competition has kicked off in Boyardineri. The Choral Jamboree, which commenced on Sunday, June 16th, in different parishes across Boyardineri, saw 8 best choirs singing their spots at the next stage of that competition. The competition song, composed by Aloysius Fonken, ties with the theme of the 75th anniversary of Buea Diocese. From our news desk is Hilarion Clinton with highlights of this competition.
Music, they say, is food for the soul. The pace of the 2024 Bodega competition has been set with the launching in the parishes across Boyardineri. The sunlit June 16, 2024 competition was staged by choristers at their various parishes. The team, being together in unity, has a deeper meaning, according to Bodega President Dr. Jude Tame.
We've just kick-started our diocesan choral competition. Actually, the theme of this year's competition is being together in unity, and we expect choirs to brave the odds, to keep aside all their differences, and to come up and present their songs. The essence of this competition is to unite choirs, and therefore we don't expect choirs to shun away from this particular call, and it's the call of the bishop. He challenged us to do everything to foster unity between choirs.
The main song of the competition, composed by Aloysius Fonken, fits the context of the diocese's 75th anniversary. Reverend Father Thierry Njime, diocesan chaplain for choirs, and Aloysius Fonken outlined the symbolic meaning of the main song.
This year the competition is within the context of the celebration of the diocesan anniversary, which is Proclaim the Good News, I Am With You Always, from the last chapter of the Gospel according to Matthew. The main song this year, as it was thought out, should come from that theme for the celebration of this year, Proclaim the Good News, I Am With You Always. I think it is apt, I think it is altogether fitting that it should be so.
This song, Proclaim the Good News, I wrote because we are in the Jubilee year to celebrate the 75th anniversary of our diocese is a big thing. And interestingly, the theme for the celebration is Buea Diocese, Proclaim the Good News, I Am With You Always. So we had to use that theme in a song so that people get to know it and feel it and feel that they are actually part of the celebrations.
This year's competition, as observed by executives of the Choristers Association, is peculiar. The rate of young people participating in the competition stands out. This is just a typical example at Immaculate Conception Parish, Great Support. Appreciating their efforts, the executives advises the young choristers.
Yes, we had the Holy Infants Choir, little children who made up one choir, the Holy Infants Choir. These kids, they can put in so good a melody, so good a harmony, and we encourage them that they should continue on this footing, because tomorrow they will be the leaders.
I have been really amazed because when I came in, I was expecting to see adults coming to sing. But interestingly, I met a set of very little children, about 6 years old, from 6 years old upwards. And that was amazing. I didn't expect them to try to sing a song like Proclaim the Good News. That song could be a little challenging for them. But I heard them trying to handle the melisma in the song, and that was interesting. Those running notes, and they handled them, and then they have very beautiful voices too. I think it has challenged me very much. If we could get our kids involved in choral music, it would be great. And especially if they have just their own choir, it will be a great thing.
The competition wraps up in Buea January with 8 choirs qualifying for the next stage. The competition will continue in other parishes according to their respective deaneries.
The Association of Student Journalists of the University of Buea over the weekend held a one-day ceremony dubbed as Job Open Day. The event, which is a traditional ceremony in the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, where these young media persons are trained, featured presentations from different guest speakers with keen attention on cyber security. This year's Open Day was packed on the theme JMC, Exploiting Emerging Careers in Communication. Let's have this report courtesy of our reporter, Hilarion Clinton.
The 2024 Open Day for Student Journalists at the University of Buea held on Friday, June 14, 2024 at Open Campus of the University of Buea was spent on JMC, Exploiting Emerging Careers in Communication. The young minds in the media landscape were schooled on different fields, with the guest speaker taking particular interest in cybersecurity. The head of the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication was represented in the person of Dr. Divine Bisong, who chaired the Open Day ceremony.
The Open Day generally every year is that particular day that is reserved for journalism students. Those of them who are still there and those of them who are just coming in from the first year right to the final year. That Open Day is that kind of interacting period. This year's Open Day is just one of the usual practices that the department usually does during Open Day ceremonies. And you'll notice today we decided to take another dimension of something which is very, very current, the issue of cyber criminality.
The team was carefully selected to suit the advancing world. The outgoing president contextualized its timeliness.
Yeah, the theme for this year's Open Day, we have it as JMC, Embracing or Exploiting Emerging Careers in Communication. This theme was inspired because we are in an era whereby the digital transformation has affected every field of life, particularly the field of communication. There are so many transformations and so many opportunities out there. So gone are those days where those who did JMC thought they could only pick up the pen and write for a newspaper or go behind the microphone for the television and radio.
Aside academic activities like talks, debates, and others that grace the 2024 Open Day edition, the students and guests were kept bound to their seats by different stage performance. This year's event also featured a live radio broadcast of the ceremony on Chariot Radio FM 93.5, the university's campus radio, which serves as a training ground for student journalists of the institution.
Open Day has been very exciting. Each generation or each batch has something to say. It is your time. You leave that mark so that people will have something to say.
All right, so Dr. Final question for you.
The ceremony witnessed the handing over right from the outgoing executive body led by Bila Solomon to the newly elected body, as explained by Dr. Divine Bisong.
Normally when you get to the final year, the EXCO members who have been serving the student body and serving as a link between the students and administration and also the departmental administration, they perform certain functions, and once they are leaving, they cannot go with these functions. So a new team is put into place. Like last week, I think that was done. So the new team was presented to the student body present, and they know that there is a challenge to do better than the EXCO that is outgoing.
The incoming president is ready for the task ahead of him. Tanjong Moses outlined his plans for the association.
I'm so excited to occupy this position. So the aspirations or the objective or the motive for coming to this position is to bring some new changes into the department and into the association. So the first thing I want to do is to create a website for the association. The second aspect is to introduce what we know as Ajub Impact Day, where we live across rooms to go and impact our community. And the third thing is to introduce the Ajub Excellence Award for outstanding students in the department.
Solomon Bila, outgoing president, offered words of caution to Tanjong and his team, calling on them to take the association to another higher level.
The incoming team can do better. Yes, whatever we've done would be great, but we think that they can do better. They can take ASJUB higher. And to do this, of course, they must have the students they are governing at the center of all their plans. They must be ready to be the bridge between the students and the university administration.
As a tradition, certificates of recognition were awarded to students who distinguished themselves throughout the 2 semesters.
The feast of the symbolic sacrifice of the ram was celebrated by the Muslim community in Buea in pomp and style, beginning with prayer at the Buea Central Mosque led by Alhaji Mohammed Abubakar, Imam of the Central Mosque, who preached about love, peace, security, fights against hate speech, unity, and the return of normalcy in the conflict-hit northwest and southwest regions, among many other issues. Alhaji Abubakar called on all present to value human life and the numerous turmoil faced by the entire world. Sama Eileen was there and brought back this report.
Muslim faithful in Buea, chief town of the southwest region, joined the entire Muslim community across the world to celebrate the symbolic sacrifice of the ram on Eid al-Adha, Sunday, June 16, 2024. They gathered at the Buea Central Mosque for prayers, led by the Imam of the Central Mosque of Buea, Alhaji Mohammed Abubakar, whose sermon centered on the theme, Faith and Trust in Allah Yields Positive Results, with special supplications on sustained peace, security, reconciliation, financial stability in Cameroon, fight against unemployment, fight against hate speech, unity, and the return of normalcy in the northwest and southwest regions, not leaving out the Boko Haram insurgency in the northern regions of Cameroon, just to name but these.
Cameroon is suffering. If you go right down, a lot of countries are going through difficult challenges. And people think that they want to do things. The new world also has gone our own way of appreciating the situation around the world. And you can find bombs, they kill humans as if you were animals. They have no value for human life. We think that it is time for countries, leaders, to get back to their shells and research and see what did God need, what did God mean by creating a human.
After the prayer and sermon phase, which lasted about 2 hours, it was time for the symbolic sacrifice of the ram by the chief imam of Buea, reenacting the sacrifice Ibrahim did in the place of his son Ishmael in obedience to Allah. Once slain, the ram is shed into 3, a part for the family, 1 for the neighbor, and the last for the community. These Muslim faithful say the feast of Eid al-Adha is very significant to them.
This day presents the day of sacrifice, which is showing us how to come out in the community to share with each and everyone. Here we are not talking only as Muslim, we are talking for the humanity, both the Muslim and Christian.
For us to do the prayer and to move from one area to another, greet families, friends, and to also eat little things that you.
The day of Dhul Hijjah is a day where Allah himself removes people who are in hellfire right now, who were condemned to be in hellfire. He removes them because he is the all-merciful. He removes them from the hellfire and brings them to Jannah. Jannah is heaven. Again, it's a day where Allah forgives sins.
Al-Haji Muhammad Abubakar, Chief Imam of the Boya Central Mosque, had this message sent to all Muslim faithful on this special day.
And I say, make a Muslim they learn from this aspect to make they understand. Say, life a bit built on faith and trust in God. You never get faith when you not trust in God.
The colorful religious feast was attended by a representative of the Governor of the Southwest Region, the Deputy Divisional Officer of Boya, Muslim dignitaries, among many others.
On to our foreign page tonight, former South Africa President Jacob Zuma has criticized the country's new coalition government and called for a fresh election. Meanwhile, Muslims across the world celebrate their Islamic holiday of Eid al-Adha with feasting and gifts, while displaced Palestinians in the Gaza Strip struggled to feed. And FIFA President Gianni Infantino has named Boutros Stadium to Stan Pele after a Brazilian football legend who died 1.5 years ago. Details of these foreign stories with Nadesh Meh.
At the press conference in Johannesburg on Sunday, June 16, 2024, Zuma Jacob repeated allegations of election fraud, but the former president reserved these hashes for his successor Cyril Ramaphosa, and coalition His African National Congress agreed with the Democratic Alliance, which Zuma called meaningless.
Where have you ever heard that such a big number of political parties, not one, not one decision that people don't like, the whole big group of political parties all complaining simultaneously that we are robbed here, we want this to be looked at.
Last week, Zuma unsuccessfully sought a court order to prevent first session of parliament for convening, citing a need for vote recount.
Let us see the votes properly. We've got many stories about votes, some banned. You don't even need this what people have to say. There must be a repeat. There must be an elections.
Ramaphosa was re-elected by lawmakers for a second time on Friday after his party struck a dramatic late coalition deal with the main opposition and other parties. The African National Congress signed an agreement with the DA once its fiercest political foe during the parliamentary session and just hours before the vote for president, ensuring Ramaphosa retained as leader of Africa's most industrialized economy. While Muslims around the world celebrated the Islamic holiday of Eid al-Adha with feasting on Sunday, displaced Palestinians in the Gaza Strip struggled to feed their families. Several displaced women in Deir al-Balah in central Gaza spoke about how it drastically changed for them compared to last year due to Israel's devastating war. Earlier on Sunday, Israel's military announced that it would pause fighting during daytime hours along a road in southern Gaza to free up a backlog of humanitarian aid delivery. The military therefore said that the pause, which begins on the first day of Eid al-Adha holiday, came after discussions with the United Nations and other aid agencies. FIFA President Gianni Infantino in Paris made a surprise stopover on Saturday, June 15, 2024 to rename a stadium in a working-class neighborhood of the city. which takes the name after a Brazilian football legend who is widely regarded as one of the greatest players of all times. It is a project that is dear to Infantino as it unites everyone. He was the first international star and first international icon who passed away 1.5 years ago. The stadium is the latest to be named in honor of the Brazilian forward, following the likes of venues in Colombia, the Maldives and Rwanda.
That report concludes Divine Mercy Prime tonight. But before we part ways, let's look at the headlines once more. A new episode of the weekly catechesis of Buea Diocese Derbs Know Your Faith took place earlier this Monday, with the teacher Reverend Father Martin Jemuka taking on the governance and enrollment of Institute of Consecrated Life and Societies of Apostolic Life. Diocesan choirs in Buea kick off the 2024 choir competition Butika. It started Sunday with parishes battling for the next stage of the contest. And Imam Alhaji Muhammad Abubakar calls for love, peace, unity and return to normalcy, especially in the troubled areas in Cameroon. He was preaching at the Feast of the Ram yesterday, Sunday 16th June, here in Buea, and Muslim faithful gathered at the Buea Central Mosque for this event. Thank you for watching Divine Mercy Primer. Stay tuned for more beautiful programs at DMR TV. While wishing you a restful evening and a happy new week, we exhort you all to stay tuned for up next shall be Mountain Echoes. Good night.